Level 1. The street vendor. It's 4 in the morning. Everyone else is asleep. You're not. You're lifting a gas cylinder onto a cart in the dark. You load the pots. You load the oil. You push the whole thing 3 blocks to the corner before the other guy gets there first. Because in this business, the corner is everything. You light the flame. You start chopping. By 7 a.m., you've already served 40 people. Office workers, construction crews. A school kid who only has coins. You give him a little extra. You can't help it. By 2 p.m., your feet are on fire. You haven't sat down once. You haven't used a bathroom in 6 hours. And here's the part nobody tells you. The money isn't bad. In a busy city spot, a good day brings in $200. A great day, more. But the city doesn't care about your great days. The inspector shows up. The permit is wrong. The cart gets ticketed. In New York City alone, more than 10,000 tickets were handed out to street vendors in a single year, 5 times more than 5 years before. You pay the fine. You come back tomorrow. You have no choice. For 81% of vendors, this cart is the only income there is. Level 2. The home kitchen seller. You don't have a cart. You have a stove and a phone. You make 300 containers of biryani on Sunday. You post a photo. By Monday noon, it's gone. Someone messages asking if you do corporate orders. You say yes before you've figured out how. This is the smallest food business in the world and also the fastest growing. No rent, no staff, no permit, usually. Just you, your recipe, and a delivery app that takes 30% off the top. You are invisible to the food industry, but you are feeding your neighborhood. The margins here are actually decent. No overhead will do that. But scaling is the trap. The moment you hire one person or rent one kitchen, everything changes. You stay small. For now. Level 3. The food truck. You spent $75,000 on a truck. It felt insane. Now it feels like a bargain compared to what a restaurant would have cost. You park at the business park on Tuesdays, the brewery on Fridays, the farmer's market on Saturdays. You are always moving, always calculating. Where are the people? Where are the other trucks not going? The average food truck pulls in around $346,000 a year. Sounds like a lot. Then you subtract ingredients, fuel, permits, maintenance. The fact that the engine went out last March and cost you $4,000 and 3 weeks of income. What's left is yours. Maybe $60,000, maybe less. Your kitchen is the size of a hallway. You work it with one other person. You have no room for error and no room to breathe. But when a line forms around the block at lunch, and people are laughing, and the smell coming off your grill is stopping strangers mid-stride, you remember exactly why you did this. Level 4. The restaurant owner. You signed the lease on a Tuesday. You cried a little on Wednesday. Not from happiness. The rent is $8,000 a month. The equipment loan is $1,500. The staff is 6 people, and you are already worried about keeping all of them. Here's the number nobody in the restaurant business likes to say out loud. The average net profit margin is somewhere between 3 and 5%. That means on $100,000 of food sold, you keep $3,000 to $5,000. The rest disappears into rent, labor, food costs, and the universe. 38% of restaurant owners made 0 profit in 2023. Not a little profit. 0. You open at 11. You rarely leave before midnight. On the nights you do leave early, you lie awake thinking about what could be going wrong without you there. Your best employee quit last week for a job with benefits. Replacing her will cost you nearly $6,000 in training and lost efficiency. You know this because you've done it 4 times in the past 2 years. But on a Saturday night, when every table is full and the kitchen is firing and the music is right, you feel it. This thing you built. This room full of people who chose to be here. You hold on to that feeling. You need it for Monday. Level 5. The ghost kitchen operator. Nobody knows your name. Nobody knows your address. And that's exactly how you want it. You rent a shared commercial kitchen from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. You run 3 different restaurant brands out of it. One sells burgers, one sells noodles, one sells wraps. All 3 exist only on delivery apps. All 3 are you. There is no dining room, no signage, no ambience. Just you, a prep cook, and 6 tablets running orders from 3 different apps simultaneously. This model is growing at nearly 18% a year. Landlords love it. Delivery companies love it. Some customers have no idea they're ordering from the same kitchen 3 nights in a row. Your overhead is a fraction of a real restaurant. Your stress is a different kind. The apps control your visibility. A bad review buries you. A good one, and you're flooded with orders you can't handle. You are the future of food. And the future is loud, greasy, and invisible. Level 6. The franchise owner. You paid $500,000 for permission to use someone else's name. That's what a mid-tier fast food franchise costs to open. The brand, the training, the equipment that meets their exact specifications, the signage that must be exactly their shade of red. You don't own the recipe. You don't own the logo. You own the location and the liability. But you also own the upside. A well-run franchise in a good location can clear $200,000 a year in profit. Some owners have 3, 5, 10 locations. The rules, though, the rules are everything. The corporate team visits and checks that the bun is toasted to the right color, that the fries are held for no more than 7 minutes, that the greeting at the counter matches the script. You didn't get into this to follow scripts. But the scripts are why customers come back. The scripts are the whole business. You follow the scripts. You open another location. Level 7. The regional food brand. You started with one product. A sauce. Your grandmother's recipe. The one she never wrote down, so you had to make it from memory, standing in her kitchen after the funeral, crying into a pot. You bottled it. You sold it at a farmer's market. A stranger tasted it and said it was the best thing she'd eaten in years. You cried again, but differently this time. Now it's in 400 stores across 3 states. You have a small factory, 12 employees, a distributor who takes 22% off every sale and acts like he's doing you a favor. Here's something nobody tells you about the grocery store shelf. You pay to be there. It's called a slotting fee, and it can run tens of thousands of dollars just to get your product onto the shelf in the first place. You pay more to be at eye level. You pay again for a promotional display at Christmas. The shelf isn't a store, it's a landlord, and the rent never stops. Then one Tuesday, your phone rings. It's a buyer from a national chain. 2,000 locations. You sit down. Your hands are shaking. They want your product, but they want it at a price 20% lower than you currently charge. And they need the answer in a week. You do the math at midnight. The math says no. You say yes anyway, because you know what happens to the brands that say no. You've watched them. You won't become one of them. Level 8. The food scientist. You haven't cooked a meal at home in 3 days. You've been too busy engineering one. You work in a lab that smells like a test kitchen but runs like a pharmaceutical company. Right now, you are on attempt 23 of a plant-based burger patty. The first 22 either fell apart on the grill, turned grey in the middle, or tasted like someone had wrung out a wet sock and seasoned it lightly. This is not a joke. This is a $100 million problem. Because the company you work for needs a product that bleeds like beef, smells like beef, and costs less than beef. And you are the person whose job is to make the laws of chemistry comply. You know things about food that would ruin dinner if you said them out loud. You know exactly which combination of fat, salt, and texture triggers the part of the brain that says, "Eat more." You know because you've tested it. You know because it's your job to know. And here's what the people eating the end product will never find out. That the thing that makes their favorite crisp impossible to stop eating wasn't an accident. It wasn't a happy mistake. It was you, or someone like you, in a room like this, running experiment after experiment until the number came out right. You clock out. You stop at the corner store on the way home. You stand in front of the snack aisle for a long moment. You put the crisps back. You know too much. Level 9. The Supply Chain Director. You are the most important person in the food industry that nobody has ever heard of. Right now, at this moment, you are managing a problem. A container ship carrying $30 million worth of cooking oil has been held at port for 72 hours due to a paperwork error in a country you have never visited. 2 major supermarket chains are expecting that oil to arrive at their distribution centers by Thursday. It is Monday. You are not panicking. Panicking is for people who don't have a backup supplier in Malaysia already on speed dial. This is your life. Every day. The food supply chain in most countries holds less than 3 days of buffer stock. 3 days. After that, the shelves go empty. You are the person standing between the world and empty shelves, and most people have no idea you exist. You manage suppliers across 11 countries. You track weather in regions you've never been to, because a drought in the wrong province can wipe out a crop and spike a commodity price and blow a retailer's margin before anyone else has even read the news. Someone once asked you at a party what you do for work. You said logistics. They nodded and walked away. You let them, because the real answer takes 40 minutes and ends with most people looking slightly frightened. Level 10. The Supermarket Chain Owner. You own 42 stores. You employ 6,000 people. And you have not thought about food, actually thought about it, in years. You think about footfall. You think about basket size. You think about shrinkage, which is the polite word for theft, which runs you about 2% of revenue annually and keeps an entire team busy doing nothing else. Here is how the grocery business actually works, and most people who shop in your stores have no idea. The products on those shelves are not there because you chose them. They're there because the brands paid to be there. Slotting fees, display fees, promotional fees, every end cap, every eye-level position. Rented. Every checkout display. Rented. Your store is not a store. It is a billboard that also sells food. The actual margin on most of what you sell is razor thin. On a loaf of bread, you make cents. But you make it at scale from 6,000 people walking through every day. That's the business. Volume and real estate dressed up as groceries. Now here's the part that keeps you up at night. You are being squeezed from both sides. The discount chains are eating your budget shoppers. The premium delivery apps are eating your premium shoppers. You are losing the top and the bottom at the same time. And you are pouring money into a loyalty app that your tech team says will fix everything. Your tech team has said that before. Level 11. The Big Food Executive. You own brands that people are loyal to the way they are loyal to family members. Your ketchup has been on kitchen tables for 60 years. Your breakfast cereal has been in the same red box since before most of your employees were born. People don't buy it because it's the best. They buy it because it's always been there, because their mother bought it, because it is to them simply what that product is. That loyalty is worth billions, and you manage it the way a banker manages a portfolio. Not with love, with data. When your team proposes changing the recipe to cut costs by 4%, you run a focus group. The focus group says they'd notice. Your analysts say they won't. You've done this before. You go with the analysts. This is the thing about your level that nobody outside of it understands. The food is almost beside the point. What you are really running is a brand machine, a distribution network, a relationship with retailers so deep and so old that a new competitor would take 15 years to replicate it, if they ever could. Critics call your sector big food. They compare it to big tobacco. They say your products are engineered to be addictive. They are not entirely wrong, but the version you tell yourself is more complicated than that, and you believe it, mostly on most days. On the other days, you read the report your own scientists filed in 2019, the one about sodium levels, and you close the file, and you go to the next meeting. Level 12. The Global CEO. You made $18 million last year. The person who mopped the floor in one of your restaurants made $18,000. You are 1,000 times the same industry. That number is real. It is in the public filings. You did not choose it, and you did not design it, but you have also not changed it, and those are different things. Here is your day. You wake up in a hotel in a city that is not your home city because you have not been in your home city for 11 days. You have a call at 6. You have a board presentation at 9. Somewhere in 45,000 locations across 119 countries, people are cooking your food, serving your food, eating your food, right now, while you are on this call. All of them. When you raise the price of a combo meal by 30 cents, it shows up in economic reports as a data point. For the family that was already stretching to eat there twice a month, it's a decision. They don't come as often. You see it in the numbers as a slight dip in traffic. They feel it as something with no name. You are not the villain. You are not the hero. You are the ceiling of a system that started at a cart on a dark corner at 4 in the morning, climbed through home kitchens and food trucks and restaurants and ghost kitchens and factories and boardrooms, and ended here, in this hotel room, on this call, running the biggest food operation in human history. And the vendor who woke up before the sun today, the one who pushed the cart 3 blocks to get the corner, the one who gave the school kid a little extra because he only had coins, that vendor is also in this industry. Same food, 1,000 different worlds, one chain, and you are only at the top of it until you're not.
If you learned something new, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.